Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Bayardo De Murguia about Season 2 of Acapulco on AppleTV+. Welcome back to the show, man. It's so good to see you again.
Dude, good to see you too, man. Thanks for having me.
I mean, first time, so the first time you came on the show, we talked about Tiny Pretty Things, and that was very heavy and, a lot of drama, you know what I mean? And now we're talking about something a little, not that heavy, you know what I mean? A real, kind of like we said, a warm hug in Acapulco. I mean, what is kind of going through your mind when you're kind of finding out that you're going to be on a show like this, that is like what we talked about before, like a warm hug and everything?
Yeah, I mean, there was parts of it that was scary because it's definitely a 180 from other stuff that I've done, including Tiny Pretty Things. But at the same time, it was like this joy of just, I was a fan of the show before I was on it. So as a fan of the show, I was just like super excited. And then as an actor, just having the opportunity to play and being set in 1985 and having all these cool different wardrobe options. And then just, like I said, being able to play was awesome.
How much do you know about like your character and like what like storyline you're going to be part of? Like, do you know a lot like during the audition process and the casting process, or is it kind of just like kind of vague? Like, I feel like it depends on the show.
Yeah, it really was a combination of both. One was there was a clear idea of who they wanted, and being Fabian Solares is the head of this like espectacular news program that's all about celebrity gossip and all the juicy rumors that they can get out of the people that stay at Las Colinas, which is the resort that's in Acapulco. And so basically there was an idea of what they wanted and the creative team was going for. But then also during the audition process, it's like I just kind of make my choices and kind of go from there. Yeah. And so, I didn't really know much other than the audition material. But I just decided to just have so much fun, and my audition was a blast. And then actually getting on set and then creating everything becomes a collaboration with the creative.
What is the mindset specifically with like joining a show for its second season? Like, does it feel sometimes kind of like the new kid on the block? I'm just curious about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, for me, it was especially being a fan of the show, it was just trying to stay true and respectful to the foundation that was already created. And then when you go in as a guest actor and being part of, we filmed in Puerto Vallarta for 4 months, it was just kind of like meeting everybody, being as professional as I could, but also trying to give what I could to be a character in this world, So it's a little bit of being respectful to that foundation already set, but also being able to be like, okay, this is what I can offer, let's have some fun and let's play around and then let's see what happens.
Is it all storytelling for you? Like in terms of, comedy, drama, thriller, or is the mindset kind of shift project to project? I feel like it is all just good storytelling.
Yeah, it's all storytelling. It's storytelling. It's all finding the truth and the honesty in things. Yep. For me, I love comedy where you take yourself so serious that it's actually funny for the viewer, Yeah. And I think that is one thing that helps for creating a character like Fabian. And then taking from inspiration from people that already exist. Perez Hilton is one that I talked about a lot. And also Walter Mercado, which is like this astrologer to the stars that I used to grow up watching. And so you kind of take bits and pieces as inspiration and then kind of create your own thing as well.
Absolutely. One of my favorite things about Acapulco, like by a landslide, and I hope we could talk about this a little bit, because it kind of comes off like, what do you mean? But like the colors.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
100%.
Like the colors, right? Like where they are.
It is.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
It stays true to, it's set in 1985. It stays true to the flashiness and the neon and the pink and the purple. And I think that also helps create the atmosphere when you watch the show.
Yeah.
Because everyone is just having fun and going along with it, which is great. In regards to Fabian Solares, he's very flashy on the show. So it was really fun to have all these, wardrobe choices and styles, because it became like, what is Fabian going to wear next?
Mm-hmm.
And for me, being someone who was born in the 80s, I just enjoyed wearing everything. The shoulder pads and the hair that I have on the show is just very George Michael and Wham.
Yeah.
But I think that definitely adds a lot to the atmosphere of the show, which makes it so much fun and enjoyable.
The episodes are kind of rolling out week after week on Apple TV Plus.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there is a world for both, and you've kind of witnessed both with Netflix. Tiny Pretty Things were all dropped at once, and then now you're waiting. Like I think there's a way, like there's a world for both of them. I like both of them. The binge and the drop week by week. What do you think about that?
I agree. I think it also depends on what type of show it is.
Yeah.
I think in regards to a show like Acapulco, because the episodes are a little shorter, being like 20 to 30 minutes, I would love, but I think this is also because I'm a big fan of the show, I would love to just binge it. But it's so good and it holds on its own that, because it is dropped weekly, like it just leaves people wanting to watch a little bit more. And then that way, when the show does drop, you're excited for it, which is
It's
great.
funny too, because there's definitely shows too that like, isn't it also funny where you get to the point where like all the they become two in one way, right? Because you can watch it live, right? But then you can wait like a few weeks and then like watch it all at once if you think about it, right? Like you be strategic and just you can technically at one point binge Acapulco.
Yeah, exactly. You can. I mean, I have a lot of friends too that are just like, all right, I'm going to wait a little bit and then I'm going to watch all at once and then we'll wait,
I want your opinion on this. Maybe you have some friends that have done this. I think this was like the weirdest thing, but I think about it more. I have a lot of friends that will like watch like an episode. My friends did this with Game of Thrones, and I still thought it was the weirdest thing. But they'll watch like every episode. Like, so say it's like season 4, they're waiting for season 5. They'll watch all of season 4 except for the finale, and then watch the finale of season 4 with the season 5 premiere, like back to back.
Oh wow. Yeah, I mean that's
hardcore,
cool.
right?
I just think that's a lot of patience, because I would be like, no, I need to watch this.
That's too hard. It's
available to me. Yeah, it's available to me. I want to watch this. Yeah.
Comedy, I feel like, always has serious undertones. You look at a lot of characters in Acapulco, a lot of them are trying to make a name for themselves. A lot of them are working very hard for their families. A lot of people are kind of very misunderstood in this show, I feel like, as well. Yeah. For you as an actor, did you always see like comedy with that kind of serious undertone lens? I'm just curious about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always about finding yourself in these characters and being able to relate everything that they go through.
Yeah.
But the beauty of comedy is that you inject humor to make you feel better about yourself.
Yes.
And so I do think that, like, it's always great to see a character going through something that might be super emotional that you really relate to, and then a joke will make you kind of feel better. You know what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things that I do love about comedy, is that like these are serious characters, just like Acapulco. They're going through heartbreak. They're going through, financial struggles. And then when there's just situational comedy or stuff happening that makes you kind of chuckle a bit, that's always going to make you feel better.
I always look back at like some of my favorite sitcoms growing up, all have like the most intense episodes, and you don't like think about it until later on. Like Boy Meets World, like there was so many things happened. There were like, Sean joined a cult. There was so many other things. There was like drug deals. Like there's all this stuff kind of happening. And you look back on even like shows like Full House, like they all just dealt with like pretty like heavy stuff. And it's like a family-friendly sitcom, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And these are, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We all remember the one tear coming down like Will Smith's face. He talks about his dad and whatever. But that's exactly it. Like it's all these characters going through real life struggles and real stuff going on, and then we relate to that. But whenever you can pop in a little joke, that always kind of lightens the mood. And
I really like what you just said about the money, like the struggles financially and the heartbreak and everything, because I do think that a lot of these characters, directly and indirectly, are doing a lot of like soul searching, figuring things out, self-reflection and everything. And during the pandemic, Bayardo, we've been doing a lot of soul searching and self-reflection. And I feel like Acapulco becomes a lot more instantly relatable because of that aspect, because we see these like characters that are lost and some don't think they're lost, but they are. And we've been doing a lot of that. Have you thought about that at all? Because I feel like that's an interesting comparison as well.
I do. I have thought about it a lot. And also, like, within this moment, like, you're going through a moment, and in that moment, in the present, you just don't understand why it's happening.
Yes.
And you know, you end up realizing that the reason this happened was for this to happen in the future. And, you know, kind of bigger picture type thing. And I think for shows to kind of help you go through that journey and also have like a slight parallel, I think that's really cool.
Well, I feel like, because there's so much content out there right now, like so much, right? And the ones that grab my attention are shows like Acapulco that have these characters. I think it's the slice of life kind of real component of it too, man, right? Where you see these like characters trying to figure everything out, trying to juggle life and everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's what we did during the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly, man. There's a lot of stuff that happened, and then we're trying to figure out, you know, the big question of what's our purpose, or what can we do now, and things got taken away from us, you know, and then you got to figure out how to continue going. And that's, you know, exactly what happens on our show, but just we're there to make you laugh.
My question now is kind of having to do with working on shows that take place like workplace comedy or like shows in the workplace. I mean, Tiny Pretty Things, I mean, was like an academy and everything, but there was like people that work there, right? So I guess you can kind of answer this with it. What is it like working in that kind of work setting show specifically, knowing that it kind of, I feel like, comes with the territory now that when you're in like a workplace comedy or like a workplace drama, there's going to be all kinds of different people that you see character-wise, because that's a workplace, right? There's a lot of different people and everything, and some people butt heads and everything. What is your mindset as an actor with like being an actor in a workplace environment?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a team type thing.
Yeah,
you focus on the team. We're all here with one common goal. In this instance, you know, you're trying to make money to then feed your family or do that. But the resort itself, which is what's talked about in Acapulco, is where this resort is what gives us the opportunity to do that. And so I think the mindset is like, what is my individual purpose within this, you know, and in this little world? And then what is my relationships with every single other person, regardless of whether I agree or disagree with them, and kind of just figuring out how you fit in, you know. In regards to Fabian Solares, he's on the outside, so he wants to know what's going on. So he's trying to do everything that he can to create whatever relationships through any possible means to try to figure out what's going on within there. So I just had to think a little bit on the outside of that, because it's kind of like, you know, I'm just trying to schmooze my way in to be like, hey, tell me everything that happens in here, you know.
He's kind of like, he's kind of that character that he's kind of like, he's not involved with like working there, but he like he gets like immersed into it because of like his job, right? If you think about it.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's like, you know, I can always think about like restaurants or bars, and it's always like that one person that doesn't really work there, but it's always around, you know,
the critic, the food critic.
Yeah, exactly. So you would think that they work there, but then when you find out they don't, you're like, that person doesn't work there. Like, no, he's just always around.
Oh man, like one of my favorite cartoons, Bob's Burgers, has that. There's like that guy who's always there.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, so good. Man, thank you so much for coming back on the show. So great catching up, dude.
Of course, man. I've been enjoying all your interviews and watching, and so it's awesome. Thank you for having me, and it's always a pleasure.
Absolutely, man. Season 2 of Acapulco on Apple TV Plus. They can check that out. I'm so happy for you, man. You're excellent in the show. Your Instagram, I think it's just your name, right? Yeah,
my Instagram is my first name, Bayardo, Bayardo, and then the letter D, so Bayardo D.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Catch Bayardo De Murguia in season 2 of Acapulco, streaming now on Apple TV Plus. Until next time, I said Bayardo and Petey Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.